friends, welcome to yoga. Today we are going to do a yoga session for soreness. I think a lot of times if we are typically working out regularly, then we tend to neglect the stretching, especially afterwards and especially when we're sore, which can be some of the most beneficial times if you do it correctly. So I know when you have sore muscles, it's hard to hold poses. So today will be a lot of flowing, and we'll do a lot of movement rather than static long stretches. And some philosophy behind that is, you know, if you have a swollen muscle or a sore muscle, you don't want to lengthen a muscle necessarily when it's swollen. So it might be better to relax, to warm the muscle, and then stretch a little bit. So that's kind of the philosophy today. I see some comments I'm gonna read. Sweet. Okay, just people logging in. Good to have you guys. So let's get started. We're gonna start standing today. The only thing you really need is quite a bit of space around you, and then a mat. If you have a mat, a hard floor would be good. And then when we're on our hands and knees for that time, you might want to be able to fold your mat or have a pillow or blanket for under the knees if you tend to get, your knees get beat up when you're on the floor like that. So we're gonna take a mountain posture, which is feet about hip distance apart, toes and knees forward. So if we have a tendency to turn outward, let's turn the feet in. You'll feel like you're pigeon-toed when you do that, but we just want the knees to have a good foundation, the ankles and the feet for that grounding. Then we're gonna turn the palms facing forward, and let's just relax the shoulders up, back, and down away from the ears. And as you stand here, we're gonna focus on breath just a little bit at first. And the reason is because our breath can really help us relax areas that we don't realize we're tensing. And so we want to come into a practice in the very beginning with that calm mind and body. So let's breathe in through the nose, and I don't often breathe out through the mouth, but we're gonna do that today, and this is kind of a soreness releasing tactic. So inhale through the nose, nice big breath. Exhale kind of forcefully through the mouth. Open up the jaw. I want you to hear that breath go out. So if you're in the room with someone else, they might think you're weird, but it doesn't matter because you're taking that big deep breath in and you're relaxing on your exhale. So we're eliminating distractions and focusing on what we can do today. All right, so inhale through the nose. Exhale. Let's do that a few more times. Hopefully you continue to do that as I talk. Inhale through the nose, trying to lengthen that in-breath if you can. Exhale. Now as you exhale, hopefully you kind of feel that nice sinking feeling and grounding through the earth. That is a nice feeling. So let your body just kind of give in. Let's do it one more time. Big deep breath in. Exhale. Nice. All right, this next breath, we're going to close the mouth. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Go ahead and look up at the arms. Can you feel any tightness or tension through the shoulders or arms as we inhale, and then exhale, slowly looking down? Notice any place you have tightness, just be aware. And then we'll take that next in-breath and we're going to take a little swing arms to the side. So take it over to the side, the hips kind of go with you. Inhale, reach up and wave the arms up and over as we twist to the other side. Notice any soreness through the midsection. Any soreness through the hips. Just being aware. And also a little bit of warming here too. You might be getting warm through the shoulders, warm through the torso. We're going to change this just a little bit. So coming back to that mountain posture, this time we're going to tighten through your midsection. So your entire core, pelvic floor muscles lifting up to support yourself. As we reach up, we're inhaling and maintaining that squeeze. Then as you exhale, our twist is going to go only through the arms. So you're kind of wrapping your arms around. And if I turn to the side, you can see my arm is behind me. So I'm kind of looking over that shoulder, my hips stay forward. And as I grab that hip, and if you can reach that other arm across, you're kind of like twisting yourself a little bit deeper, engaging the core muscles. So let's try that to the other side. Inhale, reach up, squeeze through everything core related. Exhale, twist, pull yourself around, squeezing through the core. This is warming you up, hopefully. Inhale, reach up, exhale, twist to the other side. And we're gonna use, you guys keep moving through that. As we use our pelvic floor, we're lifting and creating that nice brace for our midsection. That can warm your entire body. So right now, as I'm filming, this is summertime, but in the wintertime, you can just sit somewhere and squeeze those pelvic floor muscles and squeeze the abdominal muscles and create warmth through the body without even moving. So this is excellent for getting warm. And if you tend to be cold even in the summertime inside in an office environment, it's another tactic. You can squeeze and keep yourself warm. So let's go one more time each side as you do the twist and you're squeezing through the abdominal, and then the other side as you squeeze and exhale. Once you've finished one more on each side and you're balanced, we're coming back to that mountain posture. Let's bend and straighten the knees just a couple of times, just kind of get that feeling and movement. Now, as you bend and straighten the knees, the upper body is now relaxed. I want you to notice any tightness or soreness you feel through your lower body, thighs, hamstrings, inner thighs. You might even feel some tightness through the calves, but we're going to do another kind of exercise to feel that too. So just bend and straighten a few times. All right, in our next one, we're doing a little bit of balance here. Turn the palms over. So you've got knuckles facing out, and all we're doing is raising up, look up at the hands, just kind of float them back down like you're kind of combing through the air. So comb up, inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down, and our core should be nice and relaxed here. And now on this time, we're gonna raise up onto the toes. Reach up a little balance, try to lift. And as you exhale, coming back down as slowly as you can. Try not to plop down to the heels. It is a challenge, so challenge yourself to raise up nice and slowly. Just as your arms raise, you raise onto the toes. Exhale, slowly lowering back down, some control through the ankles. Let's do that a couple more times. And I want you to notice soreness, tightness through the feet and the ankles and the calves, okay? Inhale and reach up if you can balance. Stay up there as long as you want. Exhale, come back down. And let's use our breath. Don't forget about that part. It's easy to forget. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and lower. Very nice. So back to our mountain posture. Bringing your focus, everything inward. We'll cast the eyes downward. I want you to think through the entire body. And just kind of like if you had little circles on each part of your like if you were a sheet of paper in an anatomical position, there were little circles. I want you to check box those areas where you felt tightness. So checking the shoulders, checking the neck, the face even, the upper back, chest, hips, core, abdomen, low back, hips, thighs, front and back, all of that, and then the lower parts of the legs, even your forearms or wrists, if you felt any soreness there. All of those check marks, kind of keep those in your mind. We're going to work almost all of those areas. So especially the ones where you tend to have tightness, where you hold stress, those areas are probably always tight and sore. Those areas are typical areas that we're going to make sure we breathe through these flows. So pretty much everything we're going to do for the rest of this practice was like we did in the beginning. It's a flow. It's meant to move. It's dynamic versus static where we're holding something. Okay, now if you find a spot where it feels super good for you to stretch that a little bit longer and hold in a posture, I want you to have the freedom to do that. So if it feels good, stay in it. Hang out there, breathe through it. And if it feels not okay, then get out of it and move through it. Okay, so everyone's a little different. You obey your body and where you are for today, okay? Promise me that. All right, we're going to start with sunflowers and moonflowers. Now, normally we get really deep into these squats. We take the feet out and turn the toes out toward the corners of the mat, and we're gonna get that really wide stance. It's okay for you to do that today, but for soreness sake, and because we're focusing on soreness, and let's say your hips and legs are very sore, we're gonna take a much smaller bend through the knees. So we'll start with the moonflowers, I combine them, which we might do that, I don't know, it might be interesting. Inhale and sweep up and look up, and we spread the fingertips out wide. We bring the elbows into the sides, but this is like a micro bend through the knee. So just a little boop, and then right back up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, little, what we would call in ballet, demi-plie. My ballet roots are coming out. Now, if you're in ballet and you want to do grand plies and your legs aren't sore, maybe this is upper body soreness day for you, you can go into that really deep squat if you want to, or grand plie. You're a ballerina? Yeah, do it if you feel like it. If not, if you're sore, we're taking small little bends. Little bend, reach up tall, little bend. All right, for sunflowers, we're just making a bigger movement with the arms here. So if your arms are super sore, you might need to keep those elbows bent into your sides and continue with the moonflowers. If you're kind of working out some of that shoulder soreness and your neck is kind of sore and tight, our sunflowers is, again, just a little bit of a squat here. Take the head down, sweep the arms down and up. So we're just taking a bigger arm reach out, over, not quite bending over as far as you can, just depending on where your soreness is today. So listen to your body. We'll do that a couple more times. Sunflowers, bend it over. The arms dangle and hang there. Look like Cousin It with all this hair. Sweep it up. Last one for our sunflowers. Reach the arms back up. Big deep breath in, and we're just going to stay here for a moment. This is our static feeling, but I want you to, in this static hold of an X pose, we're going to reach out with one arm, reach out with the other arm, and just kind of side to side, reach up and toward the corner. If your shoulders are sore at all, then you might take it down toward the floor and reach here. If you're not, you're up here. All right. Now, let's heel toe all the way back together. We're going to start working through a sun salutation, but it's going to be a little bit different today. So if you're used to a traditional sun salutation, you feel good and warm and ready to do that, go ahead and work through your sun salutation as you know it. If not, you can go with me. I'm doing kind of a soreness version. It's going to look a lot like a regular sun salutation, but we're not going to hold anything for very long, okay? So we'll start with our toes together, heels slightly apart, in our mountain pose, but this is just a little bit closer stance. So we have to use a little balance here, core strength. So turning the arms out, we reach up, big deep breath in. Right away, we're gonna swan dive into a forward fold. We are not staying in this forward fold. We're going to lift halfway, slide the fingertips up, exhale back down, and this time we're gonna roll up nice and slowly, pushing through the feet, standing all the way nice and tall, bringing the head and shoulders up, and then we roll up, back, down into our mountain posture. Let's do it again. Inhale, sweep up, swan dive and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, round back down. So I'm just connecting my breath with my movement, making it nice and fluid. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, swan dive and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, collapse. And roll up slowly. I want you guys to continue through that a couple more times. You're just reaching up. Swan dive forward, exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Squeeze and relax, right? So we're squeezing, then relaxing, squeezing, then relaxing. Getting those muscles to kind of pump, pump. And what's that doing? Working out some lactic acid buildup, which is what's causing soreness. Or if you have inflamed muscles, it's going to help squeeze some of that out so that you can get a little bit of relief, okay? So when you finish that last one, after you roll back up this last time, let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And again, up, back, and down. If you hear any little crunching or it feels like you have little knots in there, maybe go a couple more times through that until the crunching starts to go away. It may not completely go away, but hopefully it subsides a little bit as you work out some of those knots. And then we'll reverse and go forward. We're going to do a little bit of a change up here with a grasp behind your back. So let's sweep up, big deep breath in. Then we're going to bring the hands through heart center so we have the nice tall chest and we're lacing the hands together behind you. So if you can get a clasp with the palms together and push down to open the throat, great. If not, then we're doing a little square with the wrists here. And if you can't even get those arms back there because maybe you have a tight chest or tight shoulders, then you're just going to take your hands right here at your low back and start to squeeze the elbows together, okay? So we have a couple of different options depending on where you are today in your practice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the clasped hands with the palms of my hands together. I'm gonna open the chest, lift, and squeeze the shoulder blades together. No matter what posture you're in or what variation, you're still squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening the throat and the chest. We'll take a big deep breath in. And then we're gonna bow forward, just as if we were doing a swan dive. So you lead with the chest all the way forward. If your hands are at your back, you're still squeezing your shoulder blades together. If your hands are in a square, you're still squeezing shoulder blades together. And if your fist is together, you're still squeezing. We're gonna try to lift those arms up off the back, depending on where you are today in your practice. If you're still at the low back, you're still just squeezing. Gonna let the head dangle for a moment. Take a big deep breath. And then relax the arms all the way down to the ground. Roll up slowly. A couple more times, just like that. So we sweep it up, big breath in. Exhale through. Swim the hands around, clasp behind. Big breath in again. Exhale, bowing forward. Bring the hands up off of the back. Big deep breath in, sink into it. Relax the arms all the way down. Inhale and roll up. Last time, sweep the arms up, big breath in. Through heart center, clasp. Big deep breath in as you prepare. Bowing forward, hands off the back. Exhale, release. And roll up slowly. Very good, everyone. All right, we're coming down to our on all fours, but we're gonna get down there through a little bit of a flow. So inhale and sweep up, swan dive. Fold it over, take hands to the floor. And we're just gonna step back 1 foot at a time until you're on your knees. Now this might be where you need that little extra pillow. If so, go ahead and do that now. Or if you want to fold your mat over and put your knees on it like that, just for a little extra padding, you can do that too. So as you come onto all fours, we are going to not hold here for very long without moving. Again, today is really all about that flow. So right away, we're just gonna push down through the hands, and you might activate and be able to tell where you feel some soreness. Pushing down through the tops of the feet, so you can kind of feel your foundation there. We're gonna go right into cat and cow. So as you inhale, you come into that cow pose with the chin tilted up. Exhale, arch. Inhale. And exhale. Continue to move and flow as you see fit. Now, as you keep going through, if one of those postures feels better than the other and you want to hang out there for a second, by all means do that. That might be just a way for you to open up and relax. But what I don't want you to do is tense anything too much. So we're not getting necessarily as deep into these postures as we could because we're working with sore muscles, right? So if our core is sore, then we're just flowing through this just to keep the spine moving. We're not trying to get super deep or squeeze necessarily, okay? I hope that makes sense because we don't want to create more soreness. We just want to create movement with our breath, okay? If you have questions about that, please ask and I can try to break it down a little bit better. One more time through our cat and cow. And then we're gonna walk the hands out just about one hand's length from where they were and go into some big giant circles. So you're gonna sit all the way back like you're going into child's pose, kind of swing the hips out to one side, come all the way forward, around, and to the other side. And what we're doing here is releasing some synovial fluid through the hip joints and the shoulders. And that can just help lubricate those joints so that you're not so dry. Sometimes we get that cracking through the joints, which my knees, almost every time I do this, start to pop. You might notice that. So hopefully after a few rounds, they quit doing that. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. That's our hope. So let's get one more in that direction. And then we're gonna go back the other way. So sitting all the way back, up and around. Notice where you're sore. Notice your tightness. Notice the joints. how do they feel as you go a few more times? My knees have quit popping, so that's good. Not to say they won't do it again, but very good. Okay, if your wrists are tired, feel free to go down onto your elbows here. Now all we're gonna do now is take the toes and tuck them right underneath where they were before. You might have to pull your knees in a little closer. We're just gonna kind of sit back here. So it's almost like a child's pose, but I just want you to really make sure you have a lot of your body weight behind you. If your shoulders aren't too sore and you want to go into that child's pose, you can. Otherwise, we're just stacking the elbows here so that we don't have to hold ourselves up. We're sitting back, letting the feet stretch a little bit. We don't often think about how much our feet get tight and tense. And honestly, guys, if your feet have issues, that's gonna kind of ripple effect through the entire body. So let's take care of our feet. Let's make sure we are stretching our toes and our feet, especially after a workout, especially if you're doing a lot of running or jumping. That is really when you need to take care of those feet. So let's just go kind of side to side here. We're not going to hold too much as you shift your weight side to side. Notice any tightness that you feel through the arches or the toes. All right, and then we're going to walk forward. Again, if you need to be on your elbows, that's fine. We're going to lift and just rotate the ankles. Let's go. I don't know what I'm doing here, like opposite directions or something. You can go all one direction. Sometimes my brain doesn't dictate, it just happens. Just make sure you get both directions. All right. So from here, we are going to sit all the way back into child's pose, knees apart, toes together, reaching all the way out. And now if you're super sore here, we're going to take those elbows to the floor. If it feels good for you to lift the elbows up off of the floor, that's great too, because you can get a little more of a stretch through the side body. So that's all we're doing here, is just kind of holding in this posture for a breath or two. Get that nice stretch. Big deep breath in. Sink as low as you can. And prepare for movement. I promised movement, we're going to do it. So as you inhale, we're going to shift forward, taking the hips kind of low, not too low, but we want them to come down. We're not in tabletop anymore. We're coming into that modified plank. We're going to shrug the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen the neck. Big deep breath. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale, sit back. Inhale, coming forward, one more time. Exhale, sit back. The next time we come forward, we're going to bring a foot, and it doesn't matter which one. We're just going to bring one with us and step it right between the hands. Now we are going to lean into this a little bit and get some stretching from the hips, but I want to encourage you that if you're super sore through the hip flexors, that you will do some movement back and forth. So you can go back and then forward. Now we're not going to dump into our hands here. Let's kind of stay tight. You might even come up on the fingertips. We're going to go back with the hips. Upper body kind of stays in the same spot, and then forward. Do that again. Continue with your breath. Back and forth. One more time. Great. Now we're going to hang out here in kind of a 90-degree angle, and if you can push up, we're going to have the hands on the knees just to stabilize for a brief moment. And so as we hang out here nice and tall, get the foot in the front to be a nice foundation for you, and the leg in the back, that knee to be a good foundation for you. If you need support, definitely grab that for under the knee. And then we're going to take the arms up into goalpost or cactus arms. And let's just kind of squeeze through the shoulder blades and open the chest. Take a big deep breath. Open the chest. And then we'll take the hands back on either side of the leg. Take it forward. Now we're going to shift all the way back until our leg is straight here and pull the toes back towards you. So we're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch. If this is too intense for you, then you can stay with the bent knee. But I want you to try to get that hamstring to stretch a little bit. So what we're going to do is point the toe, flex the toe. Point, flex. And again, if you need to bend the knee, you can just come a little bit forward and then back and then forward and then back. Okay? Whatever is good for you. you're either straight leg or bent. A couple more of those. And then once you're finished, we'll walk forward, place some weight in the hands, sweep that foot back, and we're coming back to child's pose. Take a breath, relax. On our next breath in, we're going to step forward with the opposite foot. So take it forward, and we're leaning into this one. It's kind of the same thing we did on the other side. Lean into it, feel where you feel that tension, kind of come up onto the fingertips here, and then we're just taking the hips back and forth. The upper body stays kind of in that same position. We're just letting the hips go back and forth. And then when we're finished there, we're going to come up into that goalpost arms again, so hands on the knees. Arms up, cactus arms or goalpost, whichever you want to call it. I've heard it both ways. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together, open the chest, take a breath. And then we'll take the hands back down, either side of that foot there, and we're going to do this hamstring stretch on this side. So you come all the way back, straight leg, you can point the toe or flex to start, but either way we're going either point and flex with a straight leg or bending the knee, straightening the knee, bending the knee, straightening the knee. So different, you may try both and just see what works best for you. So if you have really tight hamstrings, the straight leg one obviously is going to stretch you a little bit more. If your hamstrings are sore, then you want to take that bent knee approach where you're bending and straightening, okay? Take it slow, take it careful, obey your body. And we'll do one more of these. Walk it forward, hands on either side of the foot. Sweep it back, sit back for child's pose. Take a breath. We're taking elbows to the floor. So as you go all the way over into that child's pose, you want most of your body weight on your heels. Then you can walk the arms out. Relax the elbows if you need to. Forehead to the floor. One more big breath in our child's pose. And then from here, we're coming to a seated position. So finding a comfortable cross-legged seated position. You might have like a crisscrossed ankles, or you may have one foot in front of the other. It's just up to you and where you are today again and how you want to feel on the hips. So if you have a little more crisscross, you have a little more support under the legs so that your hips aren't just hanging out there. So if your hips are tight, I would suggest this one. If you want a little more stretch in the hips, you can take that one foot in front of the other approach and just let the knees fall toward the earth. But if you get tired in that position, feel free to change it however you need to, okay? So we're gonna start by sitting back onto the sit bones. So if you're leaning forward, you might be a little tight through the hips. Try to take that sort of sitting back and feeling your sit bones on the floor. Once you get into a pretty comfortable position, we're going to be here for just a minute. We're going to take the hands up and behind the head. So interlace fingers behind the head. And we're just going to take a big deep breath in and kind of look up. And then as we exhale, we're bringing the elbows slightly together and just a little pressure on the neck as we look down. And then not any more pressure on the head. We're just going to round over. So round. And then inhale and open like a little flower opening its petals. So inhale and open. Exhale and round forward. Inhale and open. Exhale and round. One more time. Inhale and open. Exhale, round forward. And then coming all the way back up to your seated position, we'll take hands down by our sides. So hands down by our sides, we're sitting up nice and tall, kind of using the fingertips to walk back and open the chest again. So we're just kind of getting that straight arm as much as you can. If you're tight through the chest and shoulders, just go, maybe it's to the sides, but we're lifting and opening. Take a big deep breath. big deep breath. Relax where you can. Now we're gonna add some arms to this, so inhale and reach up. Exhale and twist, a lot like we did in the beginning. So you're just kind of going over to one side. Whew. Inhale and reach up. Exhale to the other side. My dogs are really excited about something today, guys. I'm sure you can hear them. I apologize for that. Hopefully you can block it out. That's one great yoga thing, is that we're trying to take that awareness from outside and turning it in, because there's always going to be distractions. So let's just focus on what we're doing. Exhale and twist. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and twist. You don't have to get deeper into this, but you can if you want to. I would just encourage that movement from side to side. Very nice. And even if you want to take it smaller here, that's fine too. Very nice. One more time, let's go to each side. Twist as big as you want or as small as you want. Obeying your flexibility in your day. Finishing up evenly back into the center, we're going to take palms facing up, sitting nice and tall, and if you need to change out your position, feel free to do that too. And let's just tilt the head from side to side. So we're going to go left and right, feeling the sides of the neck. If you have tightness there from your shoulders, sometimes you feel tight in the neck, but it's actually from a muscle that's pulling from the middle of your back. So just take note of that. See if you can feel where it's originating from. And then back to center here. We're just taking a straight on approach, sitting nice and tall. Keep that spine tall. I want you to feel some stacking going on, and you've got those abdominal muscles really working to hold you up nice and tall. And with the back of the neck nice and tall, we're just gonna look down at the chest and then up at the ceiling, keeping your jaw closed. Down and up, jaw stays closed. One more time. And then finally back to center. Keeping the palms facing up, we're gonna sit nice and tall here and just kind of reorient ourselves to our bodies like we did in the very beginning, where we went through each body type and did that little anatomical checklist. So I want you to kind of go back through that checklist and make sure you got every area. And if you need to take some time to go back to one of those areas that was a little extra sore, then definitely take time to do that. Also, I want to encourage everyone to take time to heal and rest, especially after a really difficult workout. Making sure that you allow your body to recover is one of the most important things, and one of the most skipped over things, honestly, if you're super athletic. It's hard to take that downtime, but I encourage you guys to do that. Yoga is a great way to feel like you're doing some movement, but you don't have to sweat and get out of breath and have sore muscles to know that you've done work. So that is just an encouraging word for you. It's hard to take a step back, I know, because I do the same thing. So, but do it. Recover, let your body rest and recover as needed. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids to flush out any of those toxins that are built up. That's another great thing to do after a yoga workout like this, where we're kind of flushing those muscles out. You need to drink a lot of water. So make sure you go and grab a bottle of water, drink it all day long, sip on it, don't gulp it. So that's another tip. Sipping is how we rehydrate. Gulping is just gonna flush right through your system real fast, whereas sipping continues to hydrate. So there's another tip for you. I'm full of great tips today, right? But if you guys have any questions about that, whatever I can share with you, I will. So just leave a comment or let me know if you need to know more about hydration. And so guys, with that, I hope that you feel better. I hope that we have worked out some soreness. You can go about your day feeling much, much better. Come back to this and do it again as many times as you need to. There's never too many recovery times for you, all right, when you're sore. So let's sweep it up, breathe in together, inhale. Hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.